What's up, my Vina loves? This is Vina D coming to you all from Vina Team News. I'm aware that some of you might not be here for the messenger, but the message is powerful. So I decided to post this Porsha Williams Instagram live, especially on a topic about Black women and healthcare and childbirth and the importance and all of that. Okay, I'm very fair on this channel. If we can post a mess, then we can also post a message, okay? And when something is serious and important and there's a message in the mess, then I'm going to post the message regardless of how, you feel about the person, all right? So let's go ahead and get into it.
Okay. I am super excited to be on live with you guys. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi. How are you guys doing? I actually miss being on live. Like, my goodness, I haven't been on live, and why don't I just move this pillow? Boom, we just moved the pillow out the way. I haven't been on live in a long time, so I am so glad to be on with you guys today. Yes, I am rocking my Black Women's Lives Matter sweatshirt. They just sent me their new line, so if you guys haven't checked them out, check them out. This one says, "I love being a Black woman." Yes. Are we on the last day of Black History Month? I think so. What's today? Are we? I have to check it. But anyway, today is going to be an awesome live. I'll be jumping on with Miss Stacy Stewart herself. She is the CEO of March of Dimes. She is coming on very soon. We'll just chat a little bit before she gets here. But in case you guys didn't know, I have been an advocate for March of Dimes for quite some time now. Oh, it is the last day. Yes, this is the last day. So we just made it with this live, okay? We are talking about the disparages in the healthcare system for African American women, and what better day to do it than the last day of Black History Month. Do not click off. Stay on. We're going to give you some great information. Stacey and I always have the best conversation. I'm actually waiting on her to join right now. Hold on. View says, okay. Maybe I can maybe invite her. Go. Okay. I did it.
Hi.
I did it. Hi.
You did. It's so
How
good
are
to see you. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Look, I'm your twin now. Look at our hair.
I know. I love it. And first of all, you're gorgeous all the time.
Thank you.
Of course, I'm a little partial to the short hair. So yeah. I love it.
I'm about this life with you. I am just owning my natural. It's a great feeling.
It is.
But welcome to my live again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I was just telling them just now who you were. I want to introduce to you all. This is Stacy. Stacy Stewart from the March of Dimes, CEO of March of Dimes. We've chatted before plenty of times on here, so we are glad to have you back. When I posted it, they were in the comments like, yes, I can't wait to tune in for this great conversation with you today. Yeah, and I was telling them what a great day to have this conversation on the last day of Black History Month.
I know. Happy Black History Month.
Yes, happy Black History Month to you as well. I was telling them I'm celebrating being a Black woman, and I definitely want to continue the conversation we're having today for the rest of the year.
Yes.
For some of you guys who don't know, I am one of the celebrity ambassadors for March of Dimes, and our focus, yes, and I have been for some time now, right? What's it been, like almost a year, a little over a year, 2 years?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's been almost 2 years. Yeah. Because remember, I came down and I was at your lunch that you had.
That
was on the Real Housewives show. So yeah, it's been about 2 years.
It was right before that. And I have certainly enjoyed the work that I've been able to do with you guys and blessed to be a part of March of Dimes. And today we want to talk about the disparities in the healthcare system and focus on how it is for African American women in the healthcare system. So we really wanted you to be able to kind of touch on that topic and give us a background of how March of Dimes is involved in closing that gap.
Yeah, so this is really good timing for us to be talking, Porsha, because last week some really disturbing new information came out about maternal mortality rates in the U.S. And if you can believe this, we saw an 18% increase in maternal deaths as a result of pregnancy and childbirth in 1 year. So obviously, this was data coming from 2020. Which was an awful year for everybody. And it was especially a terrible year for pregnant women being at far greater risk of hospitalization and even death as a result of contracting COVID. Of course, 2020 was the entire year was when most of us, no one really had access to vaccines. So we also didn't have vaccines available to protect pregnant women. So, and guess what? The other disturbing part of that is that the biggest increases in the maternal mortality rates happened for Black and brown women, probably not surprising. 44% increase for Hispanic women and 25% increase for Black women. So we're going absolutely in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone the other day. Parent Magazine. I was talking about March of Dimes and the work that you all do. And we were talking about, African American women, when we're going to the healthcare, how we have to advocate for ourselves. And we've been talking about this for a while. You've been doing this work for many, many years.
Yeah.
How people think of us race-wise in the healthcare system, and how before I was just all about telling women, make sure you bring someone with you to help advocate for your health, and in a case that you need someone to speak for you. But see, the problem I faced even during the pandemic is when I had to go to the hospital, I was by myself.
Right.
You can't have anyone go with you. So what do you suggest for these mothers to do who are having to give birth alone, any type of complication, they're having to go back to the hospital alone? It's very scary. What are your suggestions?
It is very scary. And first of all, let me just say this, that all of us should be advocates for our own health. I mean, I don't care who you are. We should all understand our health and be able to advocate. But the burden is so much on Black and brown women to have to advocate for our health, often to save our lives, which is really an unfair burden, to your point. So a couple things. One is know your body, trust your provider, be able to feel comfortable that you can have a conversation with your primary doctor, your primary care provider, in ways that make you comfortable. So while you're pregnant, be developing that relationship with your provider. Make sure that they spend the time with you to answer your questions, so that if something happens and you need emergency help, or you're in a critical condition, that you're in good hands. That's the first thing. The second thing is that even if your spouse or your partner can't be with you, and sometimes you're right, Porsha, you may not be able to have anybody with you, but try your best. Whether it's your mother, your grandmother, your girlfriend, your cousin, your auntie, it doesn't matter. Like, just bring somebody along, somebody who can be there to speak for you if you're not able to really articulate everything yourself, if you can do that. The last thing is that we have to come together as Black women, as women in general, and as people, and say, for once and for all, for the United States to be the most dangerous developed country in the world in which to give birth is just unacceptable. Yeah. And so the level of advocacy we need is around policy change. What we need is policy changes in Congress. We need policy changes at the state level. We need to completely disrupt the manner in which women give birth in this country today, especially for Black and brown women, to keep us safer. And that kind of advocacy is what the March of Dimes is working on as well, in addition to doing things like implicit bias training for healthcare providers and things like that. But finally, I just think we just have to really stand up for ourselves collectively, not only for ourselves, but for our daughters, our granddaughters, and say, we just want something different in the healthcare system for all of us to keep us as safe as possible.
You actually jumped to a question that I had later on, which is how March of Dimes is uplifting this conversation as far as policy change and on the policy level. what exactly are you got? What is your demand? What is your exact work that you're doing to push this policy? And what
Yeah,
policy?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So, first of all, in Congress right now, there is legislation pending on two big issues. So this should be really easy to remember. The
Mm-hmm.
first is momnibus, MOM momnibus, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like omnibus, but for moms, right?
Uh-huh.
Omnibus usually means a big package of bills. Well, that's what momnibus is. Momnibus is about 12 different bills that are really making their way through Congress. It's already getting great bipartisan support. We need every member of Congress, every senator, especially the senators, and a member of Congress to hear from each one of anybody listening to say, we want to see Congress pass Momnibus, which would allow for us to have Medicaid reimbursement for doulas and midwives and make sure we have more support for women, um,
Yes.
do better data collection, a whole range of things, support more community-based organizations that are Black women led, right? So that we have more Black women really helping other Black women, and those resources are there. So a lot of different things. The
Mm-hmm.
second big thing we have to get done, and this is also in Congress, is around extending Medicaid postpartum 12 months. Guess what? If you're a woman and you're able to get on Medicaid, if you didn't have coverage before, you're able to get on Medicaid for your pregnancy and childbirth, Medicaid can drop you 60 days after the baby is born. But guess what? About one third of all maternal deaths happen from the time the baby is born out to 1 year. A
Right.
lot of women have challenges during pregnancy. They may have suffered, like I know, of course, you've talked about issues with
Yeah.
preeclampsia and things like that.
Yeah.
You need to be able to go to a doctor more than 60 days after the baby has come if you've got
Mhm.
extenuating circumstances. So we need, and guess what? Last thing I'll say about Medicaid, Medicaid covers over 40% of all the births in this country and covers about 60% of all the Black births in this country. So it's a critical part of how to keep Black moms especially safe as well as their babies. So those are two big policy changes we're pushing for at the March of Dimes.
Yeah, and the thing, as soon as you said that, after it could be after 30 days, I suffered from fibroids, and it's been something
Yes.
that plagued me for years, and thank God, I was able to have Pilar after having miscarriage from having fibroids before. But I went to the hospital a couple times after my birth because the fibroids were degenerating. So that,
Mm.
and during the pregnancy, then it happened again afterwards. I just can't imagine being after giving birth and dealing with all of those different hormone changes and stress and being a new mom and not being able to afford health care. So that, to me, is would definitely be priority to make sure that they still have Medicare afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
The fibroid issues that you've talked about that really have impacted you, and preeclampsia, which is really a high blood pressure condition that can affect about really 15% of all the preterm births can be attributed to preeclampsia. Very serious condition that could even risk not only the life of the baby but the life of the mom. You know,
mhm.
and then those issues that happen during pregnancy, if you have chronic health conditions before pregnancy, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, sometimes your health conditions can be made worse.
Right.
And so there's no reason why any woman should have to go without health care and health coverage even after the baby has come. Of course, we want to care about the baby. The baby needs wellness visits. Everybody's focused on the baby. We
Right.
have to also focus on mom. You can't lose sight of mom as well.
Wow. Now, just to switch gears a little bit, I know that you guys are getting ready for March for Babies. I remember you did this last year. It was such an exciting time for March of Dimes.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers more about it.
Yeah. So March for Babies, if anyone's ever walked for a particular cause, right? Um, it was really, people don't know this. And of course, this is really cool. March of Dimes really originated the walk for charity effort. Like,
Oh,
we've been doing this for
oh
over half a century, right? In
not me.
fact, this is a little, let me tell you something about it because I'm an Atlanta native. I
Yeah.
can remember walking in the March of Dimes' walk when I was 12 years old, and I walked 20
Oh,
miles.
wow.
Crazy. My feet still hurt from that, by the
Oh, but it
way.
was for a cause. It was for a
It was for
cause.
a good cause. But we have to now's the season for March for Babies. So glad you raised that because we want everybody to sign up. And look, March for Babies, yes, it's a fundraiser for March of Dimes. It gives a lot of the resources we use over the course of the year to to go towards our mission. But what really is important about March for Babies is that if you're a woman that suffered from a miscarriage or from loss or having experienced fibroids, or you had a maternal health challenge, or you had a pregnancy loss, or you're a stillborn, you would not believe the number of people who come out, families who come out, and just get connected to a broader community of other people who've had similar experiences. And so it's really an uplifting opportunity. We have fraternities and sororities like my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta, the Alphas, the Zetas, the Sigmas. Everybody comes out. It's a big community event. And yes, it goes to a good cause when you raise money for March of Dimes. So March for Babies, you can sign up. Just go to marchforbabies.org or go to the marchofdimes.org website to get more information. But the events are usually between, March and May, late March and May. So it's a perfect time to be outside anyway.
They would need to start signing up now.
Yeah, start signing up now. You can start forming your team. You get other friends to walk with you. Oh, by the way, you can also download our app. It's the March of Dimes Charity Cloud app, because right now March of Babies is really both virtual and in person. So you can go to an in-person event. You can also take steps and raise money for all the steps you take by going to our app as well. But all that information is at marchforbabies.org, and you can sign up. We want to get everybody involved.
Now, I have a lot of people who ask me about, because like you said, I wouldn't even think, since you were 12, March of Dimes, when did it get started? What year March of Dimes? When did it begin?
So 1938.
Wow.
And I'm not that old, by the way, but yes.
Not at all. Well, because you said you marched when you were 12. Yeah, that was around 1999.
Don't do the math. Don't do the math.
Don't do the math.
Yeah, I have a birthday tomorrow, so I'm definitely not doing the math.
Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday. My daughter's birthday is actually coming up the end of this month, March 22nd.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, she'll be
That's so good.
Yeah, she'll be 3. So, but I was going to ask you, I have so many women who do ask me about March of Dimes and how can they get involved. When we have these type of conversations and people learn about these statistics, they are concerned, and then they also feel helpless because they don't know what they can do to assist some of these other mothers or people that they have in their family. What is it that people can do to get involved with March of Dimes mission? And I know they want to get involved and help push the policy of mom.
Yes. So the other big set of activities we have going on, in addition to March for Babies, our walks, is something called March for Change. So even next week, I will be in Atlanta. We're having a big event on Capitol Hill at the Capitol in Georgia, and in certain other states around the country, to advocate for state level change. So we want to advocate for things like extending Medicaid postpartum in Georgia and in other states. We want to advocate for things around newborn screening. We want to advocate for more Medicaid reimbursement of doulas and midwives. So we're actually galvanizing a grassroots effort in states around the country, also doing it virtual. If you're in one of the states where we'll be doing this next week, we want to get you signed up. March for Change and March of Dimes. Just find March for Change. Marching for Advocacy Change. It's a great way to get involved and start advocating for the changes we need to see to make sure that more moms and babies are healthy. So that's there's so many ways that we have volunteer efforts on our website. There's so many ways to get involved. And, again, if you just go to marchofdimes.org, you'll find all this information there. But we would love to see everybody get plugged in.
Yeah, because like I said, I do have people asking me, and I'm like, listen, they send me the information. I just go march and do what I need to do to make it happen. But, like I said, I did an interview the other day with Parenting Magazine, and, the topic came up about African-American women in the healthcare system. It's being talked about. Your efforts have definitely pushed this to the forward with the conversation. So I just want to thank you again for all that you do, Miss Stewart, and I appreciate you allowing me to be a part of March of Dimes and represent and just have a platform to be able to talk about my experiences as a woman. Because again, when I talk about fibroids, it's something that most women don't even know. Like, I still have family members that I talk to now. I'm like, you haven't gotten tests, you haven't asked your doctor to check for fibroids. So different things like that. Us being able to have a place to have open dialogue and everything's not taboo, and let's really deal with and unearth some of these conversations and issues that we deal with as women, and especially as Black women, need to be talked about for it to be changed. So really, really, really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. And Porsha, can I just say this too? You know, the fact that you've been so willing to be so forthcoming about your own issues, that you've been so transparent and sharing, because a lot of women don't want to share these things. A
Yeah.
lot of women feel sometimes even an amount of shame, or just don't feel comfortable talking about these things. The fact that folks like you and Beyonce and Serena are using your platforms to talk about this and kind of we don't want to normalize poor outcomes, but what we do want to normalize is the sharing of our experiences so that we can empower the kind of change that we need to see in the world. And you're doing that. And it's really been our honor to work with you. And we want to continue to help you lift your voice as well and do what we can to support you in everything you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Listen, I am humbled to be able to do it. And I thank God that I even have a testimony. I was talking to another mom the other day about fibroids, and she hadn't got checked, but she was trying to get pregnant. I'm like, hold on, before you go through what I went through, ask your doctor to do this, and that, so that they could she could have had a better outcome. So, but anyway, thank you again.
So great.
I am going to put in my stories, everybody, I'm going to put the website for March of Dimes. Can you say the website one more time so that I can, so they'll hear it here, and then I'll also flyer in my story.
I'm just going to get right the one website, our main website, because everything I talked about is in this one website, and it's marchofdimes.org.
Yes. Thank you so much. And you have the best birthday tomorrow. I mean, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Let it be all about you.
And happy birthday to Pilar later on this month, too. I know that's going to be a big blowout. I want to see what that looks like.
I said I'm going to take her out of town. We're going to have something small, and then we're going to go out of town.
That sounds great. It's so good to see you.
I'm wishing all of you well, and take care. And here, my Fina loves. Thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also, turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.